on. Invite friend. Click the button, why is nothing happening? Okay, here it comes.
Okay.
Slowly but surely.
I'm shivering with anticipation.
There.
It went bloop. I've accepted the bloop.
Oh, wait, and I will pop that open.
I'm sorry, I pre-popped. My apologies.
Fair enough. Hey. Welcome to...
Hello.
Car. This time we actually got 2 players playing on the Game Pass version as opposed to the Steam Game Pass Crossplay. Maybe Solstice?
Car. Your ad here.
Yo, Solstice! Welcome back to the Sublights. Thank you for joining me on another orbit. I've got the donut washer. It's a,
It washes donuts?
Yes.
Perfect. Your ad here, Sat. Right here.
Ah, so I didn't realize this was a crossover linked to Fast Randomizer. It's, tough dirt, even though we got the heavy-duty grade, not the professional grade. Not yet. Working on it.
Yeah, I'm still using basic ass, so I'm just doing the super focused shot.
Oh, you should be able to use the one I've got. Because I think if you join on me, you have all the equipment I have, which includes the heavy-duty washer.
Possibly. Oh, I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
That will help a lot.
Okay. Urza, thank you for 15 months. Cheers. I don't have my camera on, so you can't. Oh well.
Jiminy, that's right. I used to race this beast all over. It's got a grunt like an angry rhino. Heck, I won the 1989 Race of Champions in it. Alright. I believe you.
Oh, that's not dirt. The car is just rusted. Okay.
No, I didn't. I watched it on TV. Wow, you liar.
Should dock the guy's, I was gonna say dock the guy's pay as if he's getting paid. He's paying us.
Yeah, please don't dock our pay.
No. Do the opposite of docking. Undock the pay.
Some serious dirt.
Yeah. I thought it was rust, but I can blast it off, which is not a thing you do with rust.
I mean, you kinda can, it just doesn't look good.
Yeah. You can blast it off to ill effect.
Yeah.
I think we would say. Oh, that is supposed to be rust? Oh well.
Oh, huh.
Listen, I'm not an automobile engineer. If fulfilling the client's wishes damages the structural integrity of the car, that's really a them problem.
Is this guy trying to tell a joke? It's a message that says, "Hey, dirt." A pause. No, this message just says, "What?" Get lost, would you? Alright then. This guy's having some fun. Okay. Now I just send a message that says, ha ha ha. Alright.
Alright.
You do that, Leonard.
Sometimes you definitely feel like technology might be a mistake in the hands of some people.
Yeah. Especially everybody in the world named Leonard. I'm kidding.
How did anyone in your life named Leonard? Genuine question.
I don't... honestly, I don't think so.
And not like they're named Leonard, but they go by Leon or something. Like I don't think I have either.
I can't believe the name Leonard is just factually extinct.
Yeah. Tragic, really. We could bring it back, but like, who the hell wants to be named Leonard?
Apologies to all people named Leonard everywhere.
Look, it's not my fault. Leonard Skinner ruined it for you.
Yeah.
That bad happened, and then everyone's like, we can't name a kid Leonard.
I was thinking of taking the car for a tear up down the old sewer system. Well, if you do that, I'm not cleaning it a second time. Oh, Leonard Skinner. Is a band that exists, yes.
Yes.
Because I'm better looking up the lore. Do we know whether or not this game takes place in the UK or in Australia?
We've ruled out America entirely.
I mean, nobody in America calls the trunk the boot, so...
I do to be pretentious, but
fair enough.
I think I'm with you on the whole. I would lean towards Australia because it feels like there's space. When we're outside, feels like there's room. So my understanding of the UK is that everything's like really compact because they don't have a lot of room because they're a tiny island.
Whereas I've had multiple of the car cleaning missions, it's called it the boot. The only thing I've seen called the trunk is a literal trunk strapped onto the back of an old car.
Which, you know, is probably where we got it from.
Yeah, now that you mention it. Thank you,
Also, I
Dolores.
imagine Australia has more volcanoes.
Well, to clean the spoiler. What am I stuck on? I'm stuck on the car, alright?
Stuck on spoilers, man.
It's supposed to be in this state, but the localization is shot. Well, I don't know, because like some of these license plates do seem... Maybe not this one, but some of these license plates do look like European license plates, so...
Who knows? It's an amalgamation. It's a Western amalgamation. It is the quintessence of things what need cleaning.
It takes place in the PowerWash land?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Fictional land of PowerWash, yeah. The Dirty West. There you go. That'll do.
The Dirty West feels like either an album name or someone trying to come up with a music genre.
Or a porno.
Or, you know, it says something about me that was like 4th or 5th on my list.
Well, you took all the good options, I bet.
Now, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Which of my washers is the strongest one? Currently the donut one that I'm using. The base of this. I'm not sure how to answer that, actually. to do? Car. Yeah, that's
Car,
what we're doing.
yeah. Good work there, Gabe.
I think we're closing in.
Yeah. I've just been crawling around on top of the car this whole time.
Gun the
In
skin.
the hopes that it would maintain structural integrity.
I guess this one. Sweet, we have cleaned the car.
I'm listening to a Katamari techno remix.
I've got 8-bit Xenoblade on my end. Sick. Right now it's just a fire truck, but I'm sure something else will open up that door. FA, we're currently down at Awkward Falls. Awkward Falls, that's completely different. About to risk life and limb, because someone thinks they saw the mayor's cat licking its paw under the waterfall. It's got to stop, but I've had a brainwave. Bring the old truck out from the garage, give it a cleanup, and send the recruits out on a wild goose chase whilst the rest of us get on with all the proper jobs. It's hella filthy, but if you could do your thing and make it sparkling, the mayor would never tell the difference. Thanks, pal. Alright, guess we're
We're off.
We're, here to trick the mayor or something.
Do the summonings require camera? What summonings?
Pick up thing.
What is Urza on about? There's no summons. I'm not gonna have Leviathan.
Oh, that's not any. Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, I should turn those off when I'm not doing camera.
What the fuck is this graffiti on top of the fucking truck? This fake graffiti.
I'll figure out how to refund that.
Oh, now it's over here.
Okay, there we go.
It's a very fake graffiti.
Aw, it went away so quickly. I couldn't clean it up to read it better.
It just said police rules, fire rules. Chuck?
Oh, well, ACAB, motherfucker.
Yeah, ACAB indeed. And now your graffiti's gone.
Yeah. The cleansing hose of justice has removed your graffiti.
Salute your first responders, but not your cops.
So actually, like, last week, this was last week, so the fire alarm goes off in my building.
Oh.
Which happens periodically. But it was like early in the day, so I was still in my pajamas when it went off. But it was also a day that all of the management in the building was apparently off doing like company stuff, I guess. Because this building is owned by a company that owns several other buildings, and all that shit. And I guess the systems that I really thought were automatic when it comes to the fire alarm going off and the fire department being called, I don't think they're automatic anymore.
No.
Because it took over a half hour for the fire department, when the building is just basically around the corner, to show up. And even then, the alarm was going off for another, like, 10, 20 minutes.
That sounds problematic.
It was annoying, yes. Nothing was even on fire.
Yeah. You just have like random fire drills or what? What's the pilot?
No, we have people who, through action or inaction, just set the damn thing off sometimes.
Ah.
We did have someone, like months ago, who was clearly pulling it maliciously. But that hasn't been an issue in a while.
Oh, good.
Also, if I didn't say so, hi, Left. I've been more focused on rambling, apparently.
soap really is helping with this, actually.
Oh yeah, some of the fire alarms are definitely weed scented, but
It's my favorite smell of fire alarm.
I almost said weed flavored, which I don't think is.
I hear attendants going around licking the fire alarm.
Put it past them.
I mean, hey, you do you, just maybe not during a pandemic. Well, that was a lot left on this ladder, actually, but cool. Hey, bud, you know the mayor's cat's still missing? I'm up at the volcano. I think I see him on the outer rim. I'm going in for a closer look. Oh dear. Calvin's dead.
Yep. Rip Calvin. And Hobbs.
And Hobbs will fine. Maybe. Again, it's kind of Calvin's imagination that powers Hobbs, so metaphorically, Hobbs is dead.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine this game having a health system, and there was fall damage and like PvP. Nothing would get cleaned.
What's the PowerWash Battle Royale? They're not even trying to shoot each other, they're just trying to clean things faster, everybody else.
There's no damage, but there is like knockback, so you can push people away from the thing they're trying to clean.
Dastardly.
There is a challenge mode with limited water. That is an option.
It sounds like hell.
Yeah, we're not going to use it because, I mean, come on.
Special abilities to throw dirt.
Yeah, you got to charge up that ultimate.
Yeah. When is Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 3?
Assume you saw about the Bloodstained Journey crossover.
Yeah, that is...
Collab, whatever.
The last thing I expected?
Yeah, same.
Maybe I should play Journey, but also that's the last thing I expected. I've heard it's good. Isn't it on, like... Is Journey on Game Pass?
Idea, I think it's only on PlayStation, which would be a problem. But,
I do it on my PS4. I say, I'm fortunate they're cleaning the fire truck and don't get used to fire hose.
we get to use the fire hose. Come on. Why don't they use the fire hose? Why are we here, Sat?
Why are any of us?
I almost called you mistaken. I'm so used to streaming with mistaken. God damn it.
Why can't I push ladder? I picked up ladder while crouching and now I can't praise ladder.
I don't know.
Am I perma stuck?
I hope not. We kind of needed to leave. I kind of needed to be able to leave. I should phrase.
Oh shit. What do I look like? Oh, but you're right.
You do be crouching.
While holding a ladder?
I mean, it goes yellow from time to time.
What's this? Yeah, I can't put it down. What's going on?
Huh.
Here's... Can I leave the job and come back? Let me try that. We'll just pop over to the job and come back, because I've been mashing F and nothing's happening. Alright. Back to the truck. I should be good now. That was weird.
Okay. It do be a video game.
Right.
It do be like that.
Well, hopefully all the woes are solved now. Note to self, don't pick up a ladder while you're crouching. That's one of the movements I can get at the wheel. Honestly, probably good life advice in general.
I have no cleaning liquid available whatsoever, so...
Really?
Going to old... I think that you have to purchase it, and I don't have the money, so I'm just going old-fashioned brute force.
It's weird that...
I'm like the barbarian of power washing in that way.
The power wash monk.
Sure, yeah. I think you going with monk implies a level of mental steadiness that I simply don't have, but
It takes real mental fortitude to become a power washer.
oh yeah.
It is weird that we don't like just share. We share all the equipment while we share the soup.
Oh, it's your soap.
It's my soap and nobody else's.
It's my soap and I want it now. Remember J.G. Wentworth?
Sort of. Oh, hi, Abby. Starting another async. Might be interested.
Rage ability of the water just goes. Yeah, left. That's exactly how it works. It's messy and inefficient, but it does heal me. So, really good self-sustain.
Oh, so you're doing a big async, I see. Learned SA2. Glorious.
That's visually distressing.
What is it?
I just stood here and then just juddered my mouse rapidly.
Oh.
Which, I mean, it was effective for cleaning, but also hurt me to do. So...
Are you doing the Metroid Prime aiming or the regular aiming?
Regular aiming.
Ah. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Really? I just look at this like it's a first-person shooter.
Okay, I'm within a whisker of Ulysses now. Stop texting me and catch the cat. Rubbing this outcrop and Mount Rushless is rumbling more than ever. Just saying is we need to play more Rush albums. I've always been a dog man and now I know why. Dang.
Speaking of Rush, I've taken to annoying my bandmates by trying to play YYZ and also calling it YYZ.
I mean, Rush is Canadian, so it would be correct.
Mm-hmm. That is how it's said, how it's pronounced. And it's not like the intro is that complicated on drums once you know what they're doing. But like we're a punk band, we're not a prog band.
Well, why not? No.
Because I start throwing around 3-4 times and the others look at me like I'm a fucking alien. I'm like, it's a waltz.
And when Machine Gun in 8-bit is playing on the YouTube channel.
Nice. I don't know what this is, but it's orchestral as hell. Breath of the Wild, okay. Fair.
Huh. What is missing on this bunker? This interior, I gotcha. I need to listen to more Rush albums. I listened to Hemispheres and Signals during my big road trip. Good albums.
I think I'm sufficiently rushed out after doing rock band stuff for years. I think I'm good.
Fair enough. Are any of the 20-minute plus Rush songs in Rock Band?
2112 is, yeah.
Ah.
The 20-minute long Rush song. The fact that it, wait, well, I'm gonna double check before I say this. Let me verify my information. Okay, yeah. The song 2112 is not 21 minutes and 12 seconds long. It's 20 minutes and 33.
It's false advertising then.
Yeah, no, that's a. I'm mad. I'm Canadian mad. Turns out this truck has a back that we need to clean as well. There's a whole side here.
Truck do be big.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and a left side that we need to clean.
Left side, right side, whatever the rest of the lyrics are.
I don't know.
I think the longest punk song I've ever heard was 5 minutes. Punk doesn't go very long normally.
Now, where are we putting Green Day in all of this? Because they do have their concept album. That's got a 9-minute one on it, but it's Green Day.
5 minutes is a punk epic. I don't know. Does Green Day count as punk?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they've settled into just plain rock. It's not a punk opera, it's a rock opera. So this feels like the job for an archivist. For someone who's just like, my job is to organize this shit. You know? Let them deal with it.
What we got here is their starting album, which is... I can't say I've heard that much Green Day, honestly, so... Oh, Dead Kennedys was actually the band that was, did I say that? That was that Dead Kennedys did the 5-minute song I was talking about? If not, that's what I was talking about.
That's it.
Right. Good song.
I can see Dead Kennedys doing a 5-er. Putting them down for a 5-er.
Fog light, handles, and warning light.
Fog lights are not in the front. Handles are all these on this side. That's not a surprise. There's the warning light.
That sounds like a Dead Kennedy song I've not heard. I've only heard Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables and Plastic Surgery Disasters. The albums, that is.
Right.
I think In God We Trust Inc. is like included as part of one of them now, so. Where's the fog light? There it is. Oh, I swear I got that though. Nice.
Underside. Oh yeah, floaty jumps, baby.
Good. Now the recreation vehicle. Doc, we'd like you to meet our trusty RV. It's so trusty it's covered in shit. Before we settled down at Esther's, we traveled around the country, chasing mysteries, doing odd jobs, just bumbling around, really. One day we might be deep in a wood. Yep.
The next
we're traveling at breakneck speed along country roads, evading the authority. Oh god, I love these people already. All of which has taken its toll on our poor RV. Please give her the clean she deserves to reclaim her crown as queen of the open road. Can do. Up top. So it seems like a lot of dust.
You would think that would go off pretty easily, though. And it kind of does.
Nice reprieve from the clingy metal rust stuff.
I mean, we'll see.
I'll take it back soon. Or I take it back already. There's some tough stuff on top here.
Yeah, the tires have graffiti on them.
Oh. Lovely.
Well, I don't know if it's graffiti. It looks... I don't know. I was going to say too intentional, as if graffiti happens by accident.
You never know, you're just walking down the street and your fucking spray paint bottle falls out of your pocket and writes letters on
the nearby wall, yeah.
I didn't mean to do that, I swear, it was the next. It's a very Dead Kennedy's track. Sounds interesting. I mean, I've got Spotify now, so I need to just go listen to a bunch of shit. I have been, it's just... Also be listening to some of the shit I already listened to so I can build a playlist.
Yeah, I used to use Spotify a lot and then kind of stopped. Should probably... I say I should, like, start doing so again. I don't know. It was good for like curated playlists of genres. When like I know the stuff loosely, but you know, show me something new. I say sitting on my throne as if some manner of like 18th century lord, you know. Jester, bring me some new entertainment.
Someone brings in the CD.
Someone brings in a CD, I'm just like, what the shit is this?
The ancient relic. Post a Wikipedia link in my Discord that tells me the story of the track. Nice. I'll check it out. Speaking of bangers, this is a Castlevania song right now. Shitty game, great song.
Which Castlevania is that?
The Adventure.
Ah, yes.
The garbage Game Boy game. do you work for me? There's nothing back up here but specs now.
Clean the specs.
Fine. Gourmet race, 8-bit. I'm here for it, but where did this come from? Super Smash Land? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Spare wheel. I should really consider getting one of those for my car, because it did not come with one.
Mine didn't either, but my car has run flat tires, which is something that I only really knew and put together when one of my tires started running flat, because it had been punctured. And I didn't do anything about it for months.
I mean, same thing happened to the last one, so...
I didn't have to do anything. It was just, you know, it drove. I was just patently unsafe.
Like I'll fill up the air now and then, and until it goes bad, I'll fill it back up again. And that'll work for a bit. And then the car just sort of just died entirely before the tire did. So it's like, oh well.
Yeah, you know what? It committed to the bit, is what it did.
Yeah. It's good sport.
Yeah, gotta respect that.
And car payments are a drag, but the insane mileage that I get really makes up for it.
Nice.
I don't drive anywhere like but to my job, basically, and I only have to fill up like once every 3 months. Or 3 months, 3 weeks. 3 months would be nice. But no.
Honestly, I've been driving more like post-COVID compared to before, because a lot of when I would go out, just take the bus, take public transit. And now I'm like, I don't really trust the people on public transit anymore. Yeah. So I'll just drive, I guess. But it's still not a lot, because, yeah, I got nowhere to go.
Grocery store, my job, and sometimes food. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. I have grocery store, I have band practice, and then I have bits of wanderlust. And I'm just like, I just need to like, be somewhere else.
Yeah, do that sometimes. What kind of car is this Hatmobile? It's a Nissan Versa, a new one. I posted a picture of my Discord ages ago, but I don't think I pinned it, so...
Yeah, I was actually talking when I was talking with Redacted about the book, and then it just became rambling. I should visit Europe at some point. I hate the notion of being just this American kid backpacking across Europe, but taking some time and just like wandering and exploring sounds appealing. You know, it sounds like a road trip.
Yes, I mean, I've had the same thoughts. Like, I wanted to go across Europe before.
Yeah.
If I could, like, only do certain countries in Europe, I would want to do Italy and maybe Germany. But if I go, like, across Europe, I would like to do, like, just a lot.
I think it would be cool to, like, start over towards Spain or Portugal and work my way up to the Nordic areas. Mm-hmm. Like, take that angle. I think Holland would be cool. I'm the type who'd be like, I have to cut through Luxembourg. It's a tiny-ass country that nobody cares about. I have to go.
You just walk into Luxembourg and be like, I care! They're like, who are you?
Yeah, then take 2 more steps and walk out of Luxembourg. I mean, I've always held language as like a barrier to doing that, even though I know like if you can speak English, you'll get by just fine. But still, I want to do slightly better than that, you know?
Yeah, I get you.
But it also makes a convenient excuse for not figuring out a plan to do it.
Yeah, I also want, like, I know it's like a very common dream, but I also want to like go to Japan and go to places, but like obviously I'd like to see like Tokyo and stuff, but I would also just want to take a tour around the Japanese countryside, honestly.
I can respect that. There's still a part of me that's ashamed. I took French for several years across middle and high school. I'm fucking useless with it. There's several years of it, and I still can't do a damn thing.
I have retained a tiny bit of Spanish, but emphasis on tiny.
So it's like, with that, given that context, I mentioned, working on the book. One of the antagonist characters is named Lyon, Lyon, and in my head, I've always been writing and reading it as Lyon, like the French city. And then I'm talking about it with Redacted, and he's like, I really expected that character to have like a big bushy beard and just be like leaning back, lion. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, right, I did that, didn't I? I wrote that and then literally never thought it.
Nice.
This whole time. So I'm leading into that interview, right? Because, it's right fucking there.
Yeah. Don't know if any amount of U.S. school learned French would ever prepare you for France. Probably not. It's like they teach the language, but they never really teach you the culture.
And even if they did, like, it'd probably be outdated.
You know,
You can get, like, broad swathes, but...
French people are built different. It should be nice if they would, like, actually, like... I guess, had actual immigrants to the U.S. from those countries teach the language and, like, culture classes, but...
Yeah.
Well, it's America, so...
Yeah.
They bronze swathes? What?
Yeah, broad. I will use phrases like broad swathes of thing, because as we're establishing my character over the course of this stream, that I'm a bit of a pretentious twat, that would use phrases like that. We're doing character development in real time.
Only the biggest character development on Save and Sprite. No, it's Romus. What am I standing on? Interesting one.
Why not both, Left? Get that Sid and Nero stuff going. Yeah. Highly competent, skilled collaborators that hate each other. It's brilliant. The sitcom writes itself.
That's the same. Pretty sure that's a lot of that's just a lot of truth. And a lot of sitcom co-stars have great on-screen chemistry, but hate each other in real life.
Mm-hmm. Brilla's annoying.
Do you have my chat open?
Yes.
Okay. Making sure. so don't have to read back a message.
I'm now sitting here genuinely thinking if I disagree with that sentiment or not. See, the problem is I just do things because I find them fun or funny, and if anyone else is entertained, well, that's just incidental.
And that's more or less how I roll, so...
Yeah.
Ideally, it's how everybody would roll, but... You know, as long as the basic tenets of respect are upheld.
Of course, of course.
Did I say withheld? I meant to say upheld.
I got the intent was understood.
Okay.
The thought was communicated.
Withhold all decent respect, no.
Only indecent respect. I don't even know what that means. I just said it. Because I found it amusing. We're back to, like, demonstrating it. We're now... These are the examples in the citation.
The back of the index. Ladder. I'm not crouching this time.
Apparently that will send you to the Shadow Realm.
Never again. It's my new PowerWash creepypasta getting stuck in the crouching with the ladder dimension. The upshot of all of this is we want you to have the RV. What? You're pulling my leg, right? You're gonna pay me to take your RV, basically. This doesn't feel right. Okay, what's left?
The left side. The entire left side.
I haven't even been on that side, so there we go. Let me see this mirror.
My lack of soaps appears to mean that I'm just forced to do this hyper power on everything for it to actually work.
I will say the windows. soaps for you, god damn it.
But Tish. You know what? Yeah. You get one.
Stuck in a bush. Alright. Battle Kid. Never played it. It's got a very Mega Man vibe, but I think that was intentional. Cool.
Yeah, it almost sounds as if it's a Mega Man rip. A clone, perhaps.
Thievery? Okay. Was it like actually an NES homebrew someone made, or that's something else?
I mean, they do that.
Speaking of Mega Man. PowerWash model levels have to exist, right?
Oh, you mean like custom levels? Yeah, gotta be.
I want to PowerWash Hyrule Castle. Samus's spaceship would actually be a pretty good one too.
Yeah, actually, that would be funny.
So I'm late for killing space power, so my ship's dirty. Can you please clean it?
It'd be like Viscera cleanup details after the fact, you know.
Or that. I mean, yeah. Bunch of battle charring, battle scoring. That's the word. Oh, sick. So, over here quick as you can. We got an urgent one for you. Thanks. Let's do our little replaying. Saving up for that super washer. It'll take some time. Clean the helicopter. Oh dear.
Okay.
Hey, FA, we've got one heck of a dirty copter in our hands. Your buddy Cal got himself to a real spot of a bother up on Mount Rushless. Oh, dude. Oh, no. He fell into the volcano. Poor guy was so delirious in volcanic fumes, he thought the mayor's hellish feline was up there with him. He's fine now, but the cop looks like something dug up in the bowels of the earth, which nearly was. We've got TV crews arriving later, so you can do what you do so well. It sure gets out of pajama. Thanks again, pal. Alright. You've got scaffold for this too.
Okay.
Cheers. I did refill myself. Nice. Never actually paid attention whether or not that was the case. Snorkel? Alright. This thing on the other side is barely just called a snorkel. Alright.
I have to clean the blades of all. Clean all the blades. That's the sentence that we were going for, and by God, I got there.
Clean all the blades. That sounds like bath time is in a Blade 2. That's a terrible joke, I'm sorry.
Alright. I've never played a Xenoblade game, so you could say literally anything about them, and I'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's just that the special characters that you need to actually have weapons are called blades. So.
Yes, the waifus?
Well, there's some husbandos in there as well.
Okay, good.
There might be at least one NB, I don't remember. Now there is an NB character in 3 who is also voiced by an NB actress, so that's awesome.
Nice. I wonder if the developers of Boyfriend Dungeon are aware of this.
Are these Xenoblade fans?
I don't know.
Oh.
That's why I like. Are they aware of Xenoblade? Are they aware that like they're riffing on that idea, or did they think they came up with something completely original and then someone showed them Xenoblade and they're just like, well, shit.
I'm not sure Xenoblade was the first time that is used either, but that looks like dirt and it's not. I'm getting thrown off. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Xenoblade games unless they end in the letter X.
So Xenoblade 6 is going to be awful for you then.
Yeah.
That's a low point of the series right there.
I am curious what the future holds, because the series director was like, Xenoblade 3 is the last one in the story arc we created with the first game, but it's not going to be the last Xenoblade game. I was like, what does it mean?
Yeah. That's the dangerous part of doing a lot of world building. When you're doing a story, you're like, shit, I have all these other ideas for the stuff that can happen, and suddenly you've got a franchise. Then the day comes that you're like, I'm out of ideas! Leave me alone! And you go retire to the woods.
I mean, hey, we can do it.
Yeah.
I feel like Xenoblade 1 was made to be like standalone, but then they hit on an idea for a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're making that sequel, they hit on that idea for a third game. So, and now that third game is out and it's done. What I'm trying to get out here is video games.
Indeed. It's extremely a video game.
As much as I talk about how much I don't like Xenoblade X, though, there were a lot of like background details and stuff that might make for an interesting world if they would expand on that. So I'd be willing to give a sequel a chance. But we'll see.
I mean, these are RPGs. They're huge investments. You gotta be willing to commit.
I just found myself impressed with, like, the entire team, considering, see, since 2017, I guess they've been before that, they've been able to assist in development on Breath of the Wild.
Okay, yeah.
They made Xenoblade 2, and they made the expansion story for Xenoblade 2. They made the Xenoblade 1 remaster. Presumably while they were working on the third game. This makes you wonder.
One would assume with the timetables.
Like, makes you wonder, how big is that studio actually? They fluctuate. I mean, sounds about right. I'm pretty sure they're assisting on Breath of the Wild 2 as well, but I'm not sure in what capacity. Apparently they've had at least some small hand in the Zelda series since Skyward Sword, I think.
I still haven't gotten around to playing that.
I'd be curious to hear what you think.
I had Skyward Sword on Wii, but I don't think I ever actually played it before I bricked the Wii. And like now it's available on Switch, and I haven't bothered to grab it.
Brick the Wii? How that happened?
This was, Wii was very amenable to homebrew stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely hacked it to be able to play games without having to get up and swap CDs all the time.
Oh, like an ISO loader?
Yeah.
So something happened with that then?
Yeah, something just went awry.
Ah.
Which, I mean, I knew that was the risk. So.
Yeah. I had an ISO loader set up and it was working fine, but I don't remember why I don't use it anymore. I think it's because I was using a hard drive that technically belonged to the family as well. Now that I moved out, I don't have that hard drive anymore.
That'll do it.
275 employees, but they just hired around 100? Dang. This song is generic and longer than it needs to be.
Why is that? I'm looking at the name and I couldn't tell you what it is.
German Game Boy game, I guess.
I was about to say it looks insultingly German. I don't know why that was the adjective I was going to go for, but I did.
What it's worth, this thing, at least on the underside, does not seem to be that stingy with the dirt.
Clean the tops of the rotors pretty easily.
Oh, good.
The undersides, I don't have to reach for, but we can deal with that later. Pat, have you had any writing projects brewing as of late?
Just the same old, but like I'm very bad at very bad at actually sitting there and writing. I think about the world all the time. Like, here's a new detail. It's cool and I like it, and then I just never actually write it.
That was me with Vapor Mage for like 2 years.
Yeah, I see to find proper ways to motivate myself.
Yeah. Have you done a NaNoWriMo ever?
That was actually how it started.
Oh, nice.
And I found out I was like subconsciously inflating the word count, and a bunch of the writing sucks as a result.
That was my first one as well.
Then I started like rewriting it as I went, and then just that caused some burnout. So I'm not entirely sure how I want to approach it now.
Yeah, I think you have to be willing to just plow through and not go back and edit during the month, which is a tough thing to do.
During the when I was doing Nano, I definitely didn't go back and edit, but afterwards when I was like going back and kind of rewriting chunks as I went. I'm at a point now where like I have changed so many details. I'm starting to think, what if I just did more or less start over and then go back and edit?
And that's valid too.
And like go compare it to the original text, and if there's something in the original text I liked I forgot to have in the new text, just port it over.
You're doing a remaster is what you're doing.
The definitive edition.
The definitive, yeah, exactly. The director's cut. I'm gonna call all my books the director's cut now.
I love directing books.
It is a little bit like Kojima making the Death Stranding director's cut, and it's like you're the director, Kojima, and who's going to cut things off from you? You're Kojima.
He cut them from himself.
It's like if someone tells you no, you don't listen. We know that.
He talked himself into cutting things, and then he talked himself into putting it back in. Mind of Kojima is a mystery. Wrapped inside an enigma. Stuffed inside a cheeseburger.
Yep.
It's an oddly cheerful song for a Godzilla game.
Wait, maybe that's the victory music, you know? When the Godzilla's been stopped from his rampage after Godzilla stopped what other rampages. There's a lot of rampaging in Godzilla movies, I believe.
It's the Godzilla Rampage crossover.
I mean, Rampage is just Godzilla with his serial number filed off.
They're shorter than Godzilla. It's totally different. Propeller Knight's theme is the banger ammo. That's saying a lot, because the Shovel Knight soundtrack slaps.
Strong, yeah.
Like in the splash zone hiding.
Speaking of soundtrack slapping, the new 14 patch that just dropped yesterday, they did a minor key version of the Troya theme from 4, and it works so well.
Interesting. I did hear the Four Fiends theme.
Yeah, and very strong Four Fiends and boss battle music.
This guys are back at the fire station.
Yeah, with a tower that was cleaned earlier.
Yeah, it can stay cleaned. I'm not touching that tower again.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I supposed to place this? Let's just place it here and I'll shoot from a distance all day.
I finally got around to doing the new raids that they introduced as well, and those have banger soundtracks. Like all the music slaps. How dare it? I'll be sick of listening to it within a month, but for now, it all slaps.
Me, whenever I find a new good song, I'm gonna listen to this 30 times over the course of a week. Okay, new song.
Yep. Yep.
30 times a day over the course of a week is what I meant to say. It's rude to text on the date, so I better go. Alright, Calvin.
Today, yeah, it is a date. It's a date ending in Y, so don't text me, Calvin.
What's on the goddamn word? Probably the ceiling. Maybe not the ceiling. Yeah, that's the thing though, like I have all these ideas and I love all these ideas and I just don't realize them.
Yep, been there.
The eternal struggle.
But like now that I'm focused in on a single project, I'm like every idea is through that frame of like, does this work for the story that I'm working on? And if not, it's really unlikely that I'll remember it by the time I have a context for it, which is a bit sad.
Oh, yeah, I try to write down notes whenever I get ideas.
I should do that more.
I don't do it for everything, which is dumb, but I have a very good skeleton of a world and a culture and people and stuff. It's like all this in my head is flowing and it's good, and I need to just let these people live.
Cause yeah, I cheat on some of that by just making it like relatively modern feeling.
Oh, yeah.
And if I need a detail, well, it's just like real life. You know, it's relatable. It's not, you can understand it. It's just like real life. Smile. And now I'm done thinking.
Yeah, mine is very rooted in medieval fantasy stylings with.
Right.
I'm very, very strongly considering adding some, like, Magitech shit, but in the sense that this is lost technology and nobody uses it anymore because of reasons. So I think that sounds cool. Also,
Yeah, and that's a good, like, fantasy into sci-fi trope. That works.
Magitech elk. No, the elk's not Magitech. Just magic. Yeah, my protagonist is a young wilderness girl who is accompanied by a giant gray elk.
Nice.
He does not speak. Like, animals in this world don't speak, but he seems to have a sort of understanding of what's going on. It's good for situational stuff and also comedy sometimes.
Of course.
I'm missing on this landing here.
There's one thing I like talking about, like magical creature kind of things. I noticed after, as I was like rewriting my story, it's like narratively stuff like summons and like magical creatures very important. Like they're supposed to be a part of the world, and you know something that people have a context with and all that kind of stuff. But then I read through it, I'm like, I literally don't have them show up anywhere doing anything. I should probably change that.
I'll also admit that I kind of want to start like, because it began as like sort of like low-key style high fantasy world setting, but also it's got like, you know, it's got like a talking animal races like in Elder Scrolls and stuff. But
Of course.
I also was starting to think about playing games like Xenoblade, especially, has made me think I kind of want to have some settings that are more out there and fantastical.
Yeah, everything I see of Xenoblade is like just weird enough, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's always some random element that's just like, oh, this is the fantasy focal point, huh? You really want me to look at this?
Xenoblade games are pretty good at, I guess signposting is the correct term here?
Yeah.
It's like the way they'll have like this one very specific landmark that you know, one that's kind of your goal, and also it's just very good at immersing you in the world. Like, hey, look at this thing.
Yeah. Like the Eiffel Tower, but freaky.
Yeah. The Eiffel Tower, but it's got arms and legs.
That would be freaky, yes.
The Eiffel Tower has to have been made into a giant mech in something, right?
I was going to say, what video game has you fight the Eiffel Tower? Because there has to be one. It has to have happened.
Video game, cartoon, something.
It's gotta be like some ridiculous fighting game with a French character, and their ultimate attack is swinging in the Eiffel Tower at you.
Can we get a National Monuments fighting game? Arm chop.
Yes, a national monuments like kaiju fighter, like Godzilla kind of shit. But it's the Washington Monument, Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower versus the Statue of Liberty.
I mean, that's just Ghostbusters. Or was that Ghostbusters? Well, that was one of the Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters
One or two,
2?
I don't remember. 2, okay.
That's why they had the Les Mis fighting game? What? That's a thing? Today I learned it. Holy shit. I gotta look it up later. For some reason, briefly I thought this was the reference to fucking violence fight. Taito's ancient fighting game. It had a character named Lick Joe.
Oh, they would. They fucking would.
I still don't know if that was intentional or a very poor localization. It's a shitpost at the Dojin game. I mean, hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Robo Jean, a robotic clone of Jean Valjean. Now I'm in.
Yeah. All this counts as dirty? Okay.
Yeah, perfect strategy. Just stand on the rotor blade to clean it.
Oh, that's what I was doing, and it worked well. I can't argue with results.
See, the big ones might be more fun, but these tail ones, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of hazard on that one.
Ah, see the sign that says no step. It's going too fast. I can't see it. What the?
Okay, gotta clean that graffiti off. clearly graffiti, not supposed to be there. I think we're now entirely on the engine that's related. But everything is too close. Gun keeps getting knocked to the side.
Yeah. Right. Engine mount, engines, and tail rotor drive. What? I thought. Oh, okay. I see. Do I see? Okay, maybe this stuff's cool. I'm not entirely sure, just much better.
Also, I'm looping back to Left's comment in my chat. I love the automatic assumption that whoever uses the Eiffel Tower as a weapon in a fighting game is inherently the villain. We didn't specify that, but they just immediately went for that idea, and I'm not in any position to argue otherwise.
Those goddamn French and their mechanical towers killing people. Maybe I can... Well, this should probably do it. Didn't. I realized the, Alright. There's that.
Right. Got all these lingering bits on the engine.
Wasn't engine in Crash Bandicoot? Okay. Dirt Finder, I need your assistance in the mansion. It's a matter of the greatest urgency. From Mayor Jefferson the 13th. Huh.
1 sec.
Sure. Let me,
There we go.
Right. Dirt finder, someone with too much time and egg on their hands has seen fit to bombard my magnificent abode with the ballistics most foul. Don't ask me why, I'm as fair and noble a mayor as this town has ever seen. Sure. As I'm sure you appreciate, security's at a premium right now, so I'm afraid I won't be allowing you on my property. I said I have provided you with a voucher for an extra long washer extension. It's for the cheapest one, I'm not made out of money. Alright then. One last thing, there might be a small element of graffiti on the gates. Please remove that as well while you're out there. Much obliged, JJXIII. Let's load in. Extra long extension. I should probably grab that then. But that's for the shitty one though. We're gonna get the oh, here it is. That's 800. I'm gonna spend 800.
I don't have the option to purchase that.
I'll buy it. Just quick. Okay, we should just have it now. We've been on C.
Prime Vista 3000 with a big nose.
Hugest honker. Yeah, will the soaps work at this range? I guess so, actually. That's the wrong soap.
Yep. To whoever launched an egg way up there. That was effort.
Got handed to him. Colossal number of eggs, isn't it? Yeah? I could have eaten those.
It's only a couple of dozen. It's not like it's thousands upon thousands of eggs. That would be colossal.
Governor Stevens said he's never seen such a sustained attack of eggs. Them launched over a period of 15 minutes. How do you know all this?
Yeah.
Did you egg yourself as a boy?
A false egg operation?
Sheer variety of hue in the yolks. You seem really appreciative of this.
Man's impressed by egg.
Rich ochre, O-C-H-R-E. What's it?
Ochre. Yeah.
Not familiar with that color.
It's like yellowy brown.
Ah. Quite mesmerizing, said against my pure white alabaster colors. Do you want us to leave the egg alone? I mean, we don't have to clean it.
Yeah. Still gotta pay us, but...
Yeah. I think we got the entire house. And if we didn't, we'll find out later. This isn't working. Oh, it is. Okay.
I keep wanting to right-click to rotate. You were saying?
I was saying with this text message, you got a new job. You say you keep trying to right click to rotate?
Yeah, that just feels natural, you know? I can't explain it.
You played other games where right clicking is rotating? No.
Possibly, actually. I'm thinking like games with building mechanics.
Actually, yeah, I said
like
this
the
joke
slime
and
range do
immediately.
that?
Rotating beam sword.
Yeah. What's rotate if I'm building stuff in No Man's Sky? I couldn't describe any of the controls in No Man's Sky. I just kind of start playing it and enter a fugue state.
Yeah, there's games where that happens to me as well.
Yeah.
A game that you've mastered the controls of. Hey, how do you do this thing? Oh, that's an easy one. If you're actually playing it, you just do it, and you're like, oh, right, it's this button. If you're not playing it, you're like, I don't know.
Found the gnome, by the way.
Gnome?
Gnome. I've stolen the gnome. I've stolen the mayor's gnome.
Aha, take this, gnome!
I actually get knocked back a little bit when you do that.
I think it's more powerful if I'd use the straight shot nozzle. I just knocked over the gnome. Yep. You have better muscle memory with Hades than you do with eating.
Damn.
I need to stop making up excuses and play Hades already. Oh, here's an excuse. I'm about to play Xenogears. Ha!
There you go.
Why support indie devs when I can play ancient Square game?
You supported indie dev. You bought the game.
Well, it's on Game Pass, so I didn't buy the game.
Oh. Well, nonetheless,
I'm a bad man.
I'm a bad man. I don't know why that was what went into my head, but came out.
always like when someone's original music shows up on Chiptune Radio. It's usually pretty decent.
I assume there's a fair amount of curation involved in that happening, so.
Yeah, I do wonder how like music gets submitted, because like I just wanted to add more Metroid 2 songs. So I have more Metroid 2 songs, I mean one Metroid 2 song, the only song that has a melody in that game. It's not true, there's like 3, but one of those 3 sucks ass.
They probably have a Discord or something.
Like, hey, yo, when can we add this Metroid 2 song? And they're like, Metroid 2 has music?
Mm-hmm. Actually, that makes me wonder if No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is on Brainwave. Because I'm like, it does have a proper soundtrack. I have the soundtrack on vinyl. It's got a proper one.
I kind of do want to play No Man's Sky someday.
It's I don't know, as like a single player, single story experience, it's alright. If you just kind of want to get lost in space, doing space stuff, then it gets good. But it also, like, that's like a game with no end kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's easy to sour on that.
What's missing? There. House missing?
T-base?
Hello?
I guess so. There's enough things oh, wait, yeah. Platform. Oh, yep.
Ah.
Okay, egg on ground handled. Wall pillar. Wall base.
Oh, that window, okay. Fence cap. Wait, that's out here.
This one.
Ah.
Wall pillar.
Ah, found it. Sick.
Ta-da!
Oh, it's beautiful. Clean the carousel. Muckington Recreation Ground. Power
Big
washer.
spinny. Big spinny.
I've just joined the traveling carnival pitching up at the recreation ground. You may have seen us. Purchased a beautiful classic carousel, but I'm worried about being outgunned by the owners of the bigger rides. It's pretty filthy. I was going to clean it myself, but then I thought, what would happen if I gave her a deep clean and it really made her pop? Who'd want to slowly slide down a grubby helter-skelter when they can waltz around a pristine carousel, right? Make her ping, and we'll both clean up. You're arriving in a plain van, right? Don't want the competition to get the same idea. Slide down a grubby helter-skelter. What's that?
A helter-skelter is is like a circular spiraling slide.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Something helter-skelter in a summer swelter. My name is Kevin Bernard, proprietor of Wankerloof Carnival's Helter Skelter. Please state your business. My business is fuck you.
My business is hose. I should have thought about the enunciation of that before I said that.
Let's appreciate it anyway.
I'm getting it out of my system now before I do free enterprise commentary later. Where I really don't want to be making those riffs.
Fair enough.
The teammates got it. Mark, hello.
Mark.
Welcome to Wet. We have Sad on the line.
We are saying and spraying.
Simultaneously.
Takes a lot of talent, frankly.
Yeah. Please be impressed.
What if my next step after we're done with PowerWash Simulator is I do say and spray it IRL, where I get a headset and just go around power washing things in real life?
I mean, a stream of doing banter while doing just like yard work and other chores like that has an audience. It will find a crowd. People are into that. I would say I roughly enjoy PowerWash Sim. It's a lot better to play it with somebody and have the banter going. Because it is, you know, a mundane, monotonous activity. So, it's nice to jazz it up.
Still so strangely satisfying.
Oh, yeah. I am Dunk. Spray the spire. Is there anything there? Is there anything there?
We can make something. Not so much me, because I don't play Spire, but others who do. I've never played a deck building game, so I don't really know what's my niche. I love the Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy, that counts.
I think that counts as a deck builder. This is a deck that's been built.
I feel like it's the kind of game I could get into if there's something about the game itself that really stood out and appealed to me.
Yeah, it's not the deck building itself. That would have to just be an aspect of the actually interesting thing.
Yeah.
Dicey Dungeons is a deck builder. To a degree. It's certainly not a pure deck builder. And you could argue that your deck is really more about like customizing a build rather than seeding a sort of randomization. The way most deck building goes.
Favorite deck builder is Yu-Gi-Oh! No. You know, how long until they make a game called Deck Builder, which is really about building decks on a house?
I feel like I've made this joke.
Well,
I feel like it has to happen. If it's obvious enough for multiple people to make the joke, it needs to happen.
all right. Time to learn programming.
Meanwhile, me as someone who knows programming, time to learn how to make a thing without having to resort to programming.
All right, easy there, Kevin Bernard. Your helter-skelter shit!
I mean, Mark, I'm not going to use it, so go right ahead.
Yeah, do I look like a programmer? As a programmer, have a specific look.
I feel like we kind of do.
I mean,
I do love that I've seen the joke about programmer socks in so many different places, including ones that have no relation to the trans community at all. Brilliant.
Programmer sucks?
So there's a set of running jokes around the notion of like every trans woman you know is a computer programmer, because so many of us are. And also the notion that so many of us are just fond of like knee-high or thigh-high striped socks, either as a phase or as a stylistic choice, which I am. That's like literally the only kind of socks I've worn for over a decade. As well as like there's just this one skirt on Amazon that like every trans femme person has purchased at least once. And just like jokes around those things and blahage from IKEA now. That's the slightly more recent one. But it's just all sorts of like permutations and combinations of those jokes. And references to that. Like an Amazon, you know, you purchase the Gang of Four book on C programming. It's like people also purchase, and then it's the socks and the skirts.
Yeah, I think I've seen that meme now that you mention it. I mean, hey, they're good socks, so. Oh, I'm very, very firmly in the, if I can avoid wearing socks, I will camp.
That's fair. That's fair. I've made myself so used to them over the years. Just as sheer habit. I mean, honestly, I'm like always. I'll say always. I'm always like. I have a certain, you know, fashion sense, a certain style. It is t-shirt and jeans. It is not really much of anything, and it's been like that since I've been about 7 years old. I could stand to change that, but I have literally no idea what it would be, and nothing feels or looks right on me. So I never change. I never change my style. I do change what I'm wearing. I do change clothes day to day, but like stylistically.
I've worn the same shirt and pants since I was 7. So it's a little tight now.
I know damn well that if I didn't make that joke about the implications, nobody would be making any of these follow-on jokes in chat. But now that I did, everyone's piling on the material. Yeah, it's simply more efficient, and as a power washer, I would know about efficiency.
Power washing your clothes.
And yourself at the same time. Just jump into a waterfall. That's nature's power washer.
Just use a power washer on like a shirt and you pick it up and it's just suddenly torn to shit. It's like normal. Whenever I look for like a power wash gift when I go live with these, I see like a couple. It's like either a person or like a dog being cleaned off the power washer, and it's clearly a lower like power. It's not like full power wash. Like I'm tempted to use one of those, but at the same time, I was like out of context. This looks kind of like wrong. I don't want to post this on there.
Yeah.
I don't want to endorse power washing your pet. Power washing your friends, go for it. I mean, what?
Well, as they consent.
Yeah, at least a human can consent to being power washed. PayPal funds. Did you finally get the news in? Yes. Highly endorse Xenoblade 3. Very good video game. Please check your job planner as a matter of urgency. I'm on a carousel. Give me a minute. I got 2 new jobs in this.
There's graffiti up here. I didn't even notice that.
Oh, the monkey. The monkey was holding the power washer. Nice.
You can power wash your friends, you can power wash your clothes. Can't power wash your friends' clothes. A part of me always appreciates the point in the stream where you know you've lost the plot.
It's the best part of the stream.
Best part, yeah. Good moment.
Yeah, Xenoblade 3 is very good, also very beefy. I have crossed the 140 hour mark, and that's just me trying to get all the side quests in the game done.
Game actually is supposed to have a plot, T-Base. Or at least a narrative thread woven through it. That volcano way over there went off.
There's also a missing cat.
And there's a missing cat.
You just hit 1,000 hours in the game you haven't touched a side quest of. Wonder if that's a game that includes the words final and fantasy. Xenoblade 3, okay, the main plot's not 10 hours, but like I do feel like it's a shorter main plot than any other, than Xenoblade 1 or 2, but the side quest content just keeps going forever. Not bad.
T-Base, you say that with how many hunt trains I've been doing. I'm basically grinding Plant Princess myself. It's one of the hunt marks. There's literally a moose princess, they call it, but it's a pink pup.
I was not thinking moose to dessert at first. Now I'm disappointed.
I mean,
literally just moose with a tiara. Got all the poles done, except for the top row. Get those later.
yeah, I'm getting through the last of the canopy up here.
Nice work. Aiden, good luck tonight. Have a good one. power washing a horse. Prepare your yambles. I should prepare mine.
I like the thought that those two statements are related. Prepare your yambles. I will power wash this horse.
I keep.
It has to be like a medieval declaration too.
I keep saying though, like there is an idea there for archipelago power wash integration. I just don't have the means to do it, or else I would try it. Every ding is a check. That's it. Every ding is a check. You can maybe like localize it to just one specific level, so that you're not having to do the whole game, obviously. But if it existed, I would do it. But like, I just don't have the means.
Oh yes, these canopies are usually just like tarp. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's just like the umbrella. I mean, power washing the umbrella on the patio.
Yep, and standing on it as you do.
Yeah. This carousel kind of sucks. Sure there's nothing down here? Fine. What is missing? Read it? Come back here. Let's get the floor.
Oh, the topper's up here, I suppose.
Oh yeah, right. Actually, let me, while I'm thinking of it, I do have the Archipelago game proposals sheet bookmarked. I'm going to check to propose and see who I at least proposed to. No, nobody's even proposed it, so. Although while I'm on here, what the hell is Ghost Lore? What the hell is Hylix 2? Both of these are in the beta phase.
Oh, Hylix. Okay, I know what Hylix is.
Pokemon Red and Blue are in beta. Cryptid and Necrodancer's in beta. Undertale's still in beta. Monster Sanctuary. Monster Sanctuary is in documentation. I don't know that means it's ready, just needs to be written out or what. Zelda 1 is on hold.
Womp womp.
Ori is under the status finished, client missing. What? So I'm going to propose it now, and I'll go in there and be like, hey, you should do Power Wash, and then never post in that Discord again. A1Z1. You can have it. Sections of pole can have hidden ground depending on where the whole thing was stopped. Oh, I see what you... Oh, that's dastardly. Which means we have to move the carousel around to get all the pole ground, I guess. I would not have thought of that.
I'm sorry, T-Base, receiving consequences for your actions is referred to as cancelled now.
saying is that I've been cancelled from the AP Discord.
Well, I mean, if you do something stupid and receive negative consequences, then apparently yes.
So don't suggest PowerWash, guys. You still make me sad.
Satire.
Yeah, the whole thing is a shit show.
Well, and what they've replaced their programming with is a shit show. Probably.
I think I missed what are they replacing it with?
I don't know, but I would assume it's a shit show. That's yet another joke that would have been a lot funnier if I could phrase things well. But here we are.
Unfortunately, as we were winding through Willow Creek, we encountered a group of monks walking against the traffic, and I pressed the accelerator instead of the brake. What? Kevin, did you commit murder? My Jeep.
Are you admitting to vehicular manslaughter in my text messages? You're gonna slide into my DMs and admit to a crime?
In an emergency, hit the nearest thing you can. All right then. And I'm gonna take this to the authorities. By the authorities, I mean the monks.
Thank you for this evidence.
About to get monked so hard.
You're gonna suplex your ass like you're a train now.
Young ain't fucking around anymore. I know you're referencing Saban, but still.
It's the entire monk tradition. You know, Young would suplex if it was an option. He would do it.
If there was a train, you could suplex. See that train? You can suplex.
I've fallen. Is what I've done here.
But it's still summer.
And so my AC died over the weekend. Fortunately, like apartment building, I can just ring up maintenance, be like, "Hey, come, look at this, fix this, replace, like whatever." He decided he just needed to flat out replace it. It was old and just absolutely full of dirt, just literal dirt. The new one, it works. It does sound like an airplane going off. If it hasn't come through on stream, I'm surprised.
I don't think I've heard it now. I think it's like Discord's new built-in noise reduction, probably.
Probably.
Which is why I talk every time I crack open a can now, because otherwise I won't pick up the can. Sorry, Luke. That was at the beginning of the stream.
Why is this one labeled as a horse when it is clearly a unicorn?
Because it's really a horse with just a fake horn attached.
Fair. It's a horse, but it's also a summoner.
Imposter horse. It took me a second. Yeah, the summoner costume.
Yeah.
If I hadn't played enough Final Fantasy V, I would not have understood. There was an old lady who swallowed a horse. She died, of course.
The end. No nursery rhymes for you.
All the nursery rhymes, except it's just the horrifying ending.
Yep.
Nice half this horse already done. What the hell?
Assume I shot at it.
Fair enough.
Assume I shot the horse.
Wow. Animal cruelty right here.
They're not real horses.
Says you.
Yeah, this is just labeled horse rod. Huh.
Navigation is carousel is different. You keep just bumping against things. It's quite annoying.
They meant to walk around on a carousel. You're meant to sit around.
Well, they should have thought about that before they made us clean it.
double horse rod.
Come on, horse, be clean. There's just a bunch of junk up here. That'll be part of the problem. I'm going to
You can push the button.
just trying to properly time it. And also get it to react to me.
I'm through on the freaking Zeromus music. There's a lot more nooks and crannies than originally expected.
Cranny is a good word.
Cranny is a good word.
It's like every other pole after moving that is capable of being fully clean. It's weird. How would we miss a horse?
I'm not gonna ask questions.
Is someone sabotaging our work?
It was a tactically deferred horse. Oh, I just say things, Sat. Words just happen.
God, as long as I'm getting paid.
It does have band name energy. That's the one benefit of being the kind of person who I just say things that make sense to me, and then consider like, does it make sense to literally anybody else? And it usually doesn't, but it makes for a good band name or what have you.
Fair enough. Also, welcome back, Aiden. We were talking about technically deferred horses.
As opposed to, I suppose, your more incidentally deferred horse, where there really wasn't much of a plan to the action. This kind of happens.
It's all about aiming at. Come on, show me the progress on the rod. Okay. Push the button one more time.
All right.
That's all we need. The reticle is clearly on the pole. Why are you not? Okay. Okay, I know this is a Final Fantasy X remix, but I swear it just sounds like a remix of the prelude with the Bramble theme from Donkey Kong Country 2. Never.
I mean, why not?
This one's done.
I had a nice little chuckle Monday. I went out to just hit up a coffee shop, work on writing a little bit to get in a different space. And as I'm sitting down, open the laptop and I'm like focusing on the music that they're playing in the background a little bit, and I'm like, hold on. I'm pretty sure this is Lena's theme, but it's like chill hop.
Like Lena's Inception?
No, as in from Final Fantasy V.
Oh.
And yeah, it was. They had put on a playlist of chill hop remixes of Final Fantasy music in this coffee shop.
All right.
I was like, I could work with that.
Yeah, that's good to me.
Yeah.
Is this pole? No, it's not. Evidently, I need to, push the button a couple more times. These poles are starting to piss me off. It was you that might have... No, I don't know. Just got a tiny bit left. There.
Look. Do still have, you know, the entire roof and a whole bunch of stuff on the outside. And
I just meant the pole.
I know. We've come so close, and yet gone so far. And in the end, it's not the end yet. So it really kind of just fucked with the whole thing. And I should stop talking on this train of thought.
In the end, it all comes back down to pole. As some great men without hats once said, they're doing it pole to pole.
They are.
Didn't even mean to finish cleaning that. Alright. It's my favorite part when you accidentally clean something. Okay. You...
I think the center stuff is like done.
Remind me never to clean a real carousel in real life.
It's sad, I feel like I'm never going to have to remind you of that.
Oh, one can hope anyway.
Yeah. Such a request implies that you'll be in a situation where a carousel needs cleaning, and that you'll be so eager to do so eager to act in this circumstance, that you will require restraint and reminder.
Holding me back when I got the PowerWash.
Hold me back or I'll clean this carousel. I don't see that happening with you, Sat.
I'm glad to know that I am consistent in my not wanting to clean carousel personality. I don't even know what I'm with this.
Look, that's what happens when you stream with me. No, nobody knows what we're on about. We don't know what we're on about.
Keep trying. You. Have you exposed any more dirty undersides yet? That certainly was the sentence.
Yeah, I think we can call phrasing. Hank, can we go to the judges on that one?
Phrasing. Okay.
The judge is the librarian from Symphony of the Night. How can I help you? Phrasing. Bye-bye. I've turned him into Beetle.
Oh! This was like a new. I think I just need to hit the button again. I think I'm down to just 2 pulls, but... Oh wait, no, this is S stuff.
Imagine the palpable disappointment. Alucard backsliding through the long library, gets to that room, and there's Beetle from Legend of Zelda.
I'm not interested in this. Then he leaves.
Yep.
It's this one, and that one. All 3 of them are yellow horses, go figure. Yep, my I see some right there. Sick. Okay, then we finally got rid of all of the holes. If we get to the point where, like, those things are done, like, oh, you've got a horse rod left, I'm gonna go slam things.
Well, we got plenty of other things to worry about first. And most of them are this brown inside and out.
There's a wild dog outside. I think it's somebody's walking the dog and it's barking at other dogs.
Ah. As they are wont to do.
Dog, why are you barking? What do you think you are, dog? Wait.
Yes.
Is this a... I guess technically, yes. A song just changed, right? What was the previous... Right Back to You by Game Boy... No, by Wiz Wars, bro. Maybe it was remixed then. Sounded like a song that was remixed in Game Boy forms, and... Save the frames.
Wow.
Without the animal killing, I hope.
Well, we can't kill these horses, despite our best attempts, so...
Because they're already dead.
Ooh, spooky!
My next PowerWash creepypasta, I was cleaning the horses and they came to life. Congratulations for accidentally cleaning the x-ray meat. What did I do? That's when it's slightly out of line and something dings. I'm like, oh, okay. That whole top of it's way up there.
Oh yeah, we're getting to the elevation stuff.
Clean all these knobs. I guess I can get some decent angles on the top of this cresting, so to speak.
Yeah, I tried standing on it earlier. That doesn't get you very decent angles.
I'll get the top side at least.
Ah, these are all individual pieces. I see. That sucks.
Mayday, mayday.
Okay.
Oh, almost fell.
Almost fell means you didn't fall, so, okay.
Almost falling means he didn't fall.
Thank you for extending the reference that I was making.
What a good game.
Yeah. I mean, it's a solid pedantic argument too.
Yeah.
The sort of phrasing you can use in all sorts of life situations where you want to be correct but a dick. Which does describe me sometimes, so.
Oh, that's right, I have the extender nozzle. Oh, not the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle. I've heard that castle's crazy.
I don't know, I've heard it's false advertising.
Oh. Well, maybe Bugs should check it out then. Fucking horse. That's going this way. That's my prog rock cover of Kill the Rabbit. Which, yes, I realize is actually an original song and not from the movies, but you know.
Mm-hmm. It's operatic shit.
I thought maybe this long nozzle was a good investment.
That's good to hear. Perhaps I shall do the same.
Does it have fit over here? No, I don't think it will. Just barely.
this whole side is done. That whole side is done.
Saw something big meter. Where's that? Crystal. I can't get missing.
Ah, finally the home stretch.
The end is in sight.
And it's all over here, I think.
A little bit further down.
Oh. Okay. The cresting is here.
Oh. Just keep shooting it and something will happen eventually.
Damn occupational hazard.
Oh. Nice jump. Alright, somewhere near 100. Nice.
There we go.
Sweet.
There was no bar left. And it still wouldn't give it to us.
Damn carousel. Found the half pixel. We're done. We got cleaned the drill and cleaned the treehouse, and that's a $1,500 investment. You want to clean the drill and call it a stream?
Sounds like a plan.
Is this the Dirt Finder General? I stole the name. I have been given your details by the mayor as a person who can wash things and keep the dirt to themselves. Meet Holy Moly, my subterranean mining unit. It's a one-man excavator that I use to scour beneath the Earth's crust for viable mineral deposits. Well, not me personally, I just tell them where to dig. Anyway, you may find some unusual mineral traces around the clean. Please dispense of these judiciously. Well, I've been Dirt Finder General all game.
Sorry, we're Dirt Finder specific.
Getting Gurnlock on up in this shit. It's got a hatch, like it's an escape pod.
Yep.
Yeah, we're starting to reach the sci-fi arc. The sci-fi arc of PowerWash.
So this is how we work towards power washing the moon.
Yes.
That's the inevitable direction of sci-fi fantasy stuff. You go to the moon.
How about a trip to the moon?
Precisely. Everyone is down for a trip to the moon. That was the entire basis of the space race. The general populace all just kind of looked at each other and was like, you know what's cool? The moon. And
Very
then
much.
we went to the moon.
Very much I don't want to live on this planet anymore situation.
Well, no, that's just for the astronauts who are from Ohio.
Always has been.
Yeah. The fictional arc of real life. It's the science fiction arc of reality.
What are you talking about? Ohio is fiction. Source is someone from Ohio.
So, because I'm an unstoppable nerd, I went and researched what is the etymology behind the names of certain like open world hunt enemies in 14. Because that's what Final Fantasy does. It makes reference to mythology and culture and just kind of smushes it all together. One of them is just a big monkey called Grassman, which you just assume, okay, it's just, Grassman, like, he's made of grass. Like, no, that is Ohio Sasquatch.
What?
That is a version of Bigfoot that is tightly associated with Ohio. And I'm like, I see why it's in a Final Fantasy game. It too wants to leave Ohio.
Well, I support this. Also, like, what? I don't feel like I know this. Am I a fake Ohioan?
I feel like it's not widely known. I feel like they went a bit niche with that one, but that is what the research dug up.
You mean like Ogopogo? Then again, I'm not Canadian, so I don't know if Ogopogo is niche, but
yeah, I don't know how common that is in like among broader Canadian stuff. I don't know.
For a 90s Japanese fantasy game, Ogopogo is really, really deep cut.
Yeah. It's a good one. Like that's just a good monster name, you know? And given that it's not like the actual cultural name, it's one that the colonizers gave the thing, that means it's even more fair game to just use and abuse however we want. It's not like we're disrespecting anything. So go name anything you want, Ogopogo, it's fine.
So what's the real name then?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but
Fair enough.
we've looked at because it comes up in the free enterprise community occasionally, and so we've looked it up, and it's like, that's not like the proper name that it should use, but I don't remember. I'd have to just like check the Wikipedia page or something.
This part is called the rear gripper, and I will not elaborate.
Nope, no need to.
things are unrepairable. I thought it was just the small part. All right.
Yeah, I thought the same thing as I cleaned this one.
Quest 4 Overture, huh? Well, no play Dragon Quest game.
I've still never played. I've never played the franchise. Never touched it.
I kind of want to. Well, I'm pretty sure Dragon Quest 11 is still on Game Pass. I could just play that up and want it, but also they're making that 3 remake. It looks really good, so I'm kind of saving for that.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2D HD style, whatever they call it, is really good. I kind of wish Final Fantasy 6 got that treatment, but the Pixel Remaster is fine too. What am I missing?
It's more surprising that Live Alive got that treatment and the older Final Fantasies didn't.
You know, I kind of forgot that was HD 2D. Like, I keep hearing about it, and like, apparently it's good. Just as I forgot that it was the HD 2D.
What I keep hearing is it's good if you don't expect it to be like a Final Fantasy, you know?
Oh, yeah.
If you meet it on its own merits, it's good. If you expect it to be something different, you'll hate it.
Not everything needs to be Final Fantasy.
Absolutely.
Like, it's probably better if it is.
But it's easy to assume that it would be.
Yeah.
If you don't have like full knowledge about it.
What? Square makes RPGs that aren't Final Fantasy style?
Yeah.
Yeah, asshole. They're called Dragon Quest.
That's the Enix side. The Square side makes Final Fantasies. The Enix side makes Dragon Quests.
The Enix side makes games that people in Japan actually care about. Like, actually, I don't even know how popular Final Fantasy is over there. And I know it's not unpopular, but I also know it's not Dragon Quest, so...
Yeah. Also, apparently, folks are having substantial problems going live on Twitch.
Oh dear. Well,
for the last hour.
Damn.
So we picked a good starting time.
Yeah.
I guess.
That must mean we must extend this until everybody else can go live. No. But I need to eat. You need to get ready for comms.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was getting pinged about it. It's like, are we still gonna have comms if nobody can go live?
I hope it's resolved before then.
I hope so too. But it's very like keep an eye on it kind of stuff.
Okay, what is missing? Like, never mind. I know what's missing on this right down here. Good. I've been thinking about lately and kind of wanted to get back into, but not sure how I would do it. Left 4 Dead.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's like,
I feel like that pretty much has to be private lobbies.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff.
I know friends who own it. It's just I don't know those friends are interested in getting back into it themselves.
I mean, I'm generally down for multiplayer stuff because I've talked about this on my stream, but I feel like I nowadays struggle to carry a stream on my own, but bantering with people, I think I'm okay. But the problem is, like, I'm usually, working during the day. I just happen to have this week off because I should use PTO that they offer.
Yeah.
Especially when it's that unlimited PTO setup that's really trying to trick you into never using PTO and then never getting compensated for it.
Use the PTO.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you were able to get the week off, because you were on my short list of people I wanted to say and spray with, and it's also like, yeah, but doesn't she usually work during the day, so I might have to reschedule, but, well, here we are.
Problem solved, yeah.
Very fortuitous.
And honestly, there's been weeks lately with our team where I probably could have just, like, come on during the workday and nobody would notice. It really has felt like folks do not know what they want our team to be doing, and our team thus ends up doing nothing sometimes. Which sounds like it'd be great, but is actually, like, really demoralizing.
Oh, yeah. Liquid, you don't. That's why nothing's going away.
Look at this guy with his cleaning liquid. I got a cleaning liquid for you. It's called water.
What's water?
Got to do with it.
Sure.
Is there anything joke there? Please clap.
Discord probably didn't pick it up, but...
Oh no, I picked it up actually. Thank you.
What am I missing? But no, I see what you're working on. I ask again, what are we missing?
Caterpillar tread, but...
Oh, okay, these things. It's weird that there's no clapping emote, right?
Yeah. That feels like a universal action, but maybe it's not.
Is this go drive here? One day, school drive. Clean. Right. Where's it? Yeah, Twitch kind of, yeah.
This one.
Oh, nice. I've heard you're the unofficial top dog in the pressure washing game, but do you travel out of town? I got a temple that's urgently needed some TLC. Oh dear.
Why does this guy have a temple?
Here's your clean drill. Can't wait for you to get it all dirty again. Clean the temple. Okay, it's like a church. That makes more sense. Like,
not like PowerWash Sim with crossover Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, that's my video game brain poisoning. Because every time I think about temples, I don't think about like actual real life temples.
Yeah, no, Dude, let's clean the Shadow Temple, you know? Just hose it down.
It could use a good cleaning.
You have to do little platforming and puzzle solving as you clean.
I played.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's get me this link. Alright. I guess that'll do it then.
Alrighty.
Is anybody live that we can attack? I mean, raid?
Mistaken is live streaming Guess the Game, but it says couple hours of Kaizo. I feel like there might be a shitpost in this.
Hopefully. Also, Guess the
It
Game
is
has...
literally doing Guess the Game.
And Cast the Game as a category. That's kind of great, actually. Alright, I'm good for reading Mistaken then. Hupfen, thank you for joining. This has been very fun.
Thank you for having me.
So yeah, that's from my side. Tomorrow night, career day with co-op with Jeff and Chubbuckins, I hope. Yeah.
On my side, Friday night will be something with Tagmer. Might be Sea of Thieves, might be No Man's Sky, might be Fall Guys. No clue.
But yeah, as always, have a good one. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.
Adios.